Hey everyone, today we have the key to the 2023 Porsche Macan S. Porsche's luxury compact SUV that looks awesome in my opinion. Look at this thing. It is compact, it is small, it is graceful, and it pretty much is a shrunken down Cayenne. Welcome back to the channel everyone. I'm ShiftyStan, and on this channel we review cars and drive them and show you what it's like to actually pilot some of these vehicles. Today we got this Porsche Macan S. Beautiful, graceful car, small, nimble, compact, and in general, I'd just say fun to drive. This one looks especially sporty in the chalk exterior with these 21-inch exclusive design wheels. Up front, you have a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6 putting out 375 horsepower and about 380 pounds of torque. On these wheels, you have Pirelli Scorpions 265/40 21s in the front, and in the rear the tires a little bit wider in the back, and inside those wheels you have 6-piston ventilated drilled disc brakes, single piston in the rear, set in red. Pretty great looking spec. Also, you have a couple other additional features which I think are quite interesting or new for the 2023 year, which are these plastic panels. These plastic kind of like cut, almost like triangle panels all across. There's some in the front, there's some in the rear, some in the side. They just add a little bit of sportiness, I guess you could say, to the car. A little extra dimension to the overall look of the vehicle. And let's talk about that, the overall look. It's essentially a shrunken down Cayenne, but I think they did a great job with the lines. You know, not too bubbly. The front kind of comes up and they carve this thing out and it goes up. And then they have this spoiler thing, which I think is often overlooked, but adds a unique line to the car and probably a little bit of, I guess you could say, downforce. Scooting around to the back, Porsche's iconic kind of singular line tail, brake tail light with the Porsche logo underneath, the Macan, and you can see more of this kind of plasticky bumper with this interesting design cut all across. 4 tailpipes which spit out a nice sporty exhaust sound. You'll hear that in a second. In general, I'd say it is a nice looking rear end for a compact SUV. All right, pop in the trunk, looking in the middle here. As you can see, not much room. That's the sacrifice you get for buying this car versus ponying up some extra cash for a Cayenne. Now, I do believe it comes with a spare tire with this cool Porsche logo with the outline of the vehicle. So you can see that. Yeah, there's your dainty little, not inflated spare tire. Got the mats factory. Go ahead and close that. You can either lock or close. Sweet. Let's hop into the rear. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's why it's a Macan. Not much room back here. I am about 6'2". Now the seat is kind of pulled back. I'm sure I'd have more room over there on that side. Quite tight back here. It feels kind of like a, almost like an A4, I would say, back in the day. Those types of cars, you didn't really have too much room for your knees. You kind of had to flare your knees out if you were a taller individual. But yeah, not much room. In the middle here, 2 cup holders, kind of comfy. The seats here are all this kind of almost faux leather. I guess it's Mojave beige that this finish is in, with black kind of accents all around. 2 ventilated AC things here, control the temperature. 2 USB-Cs on the bottom. A little bit of storage on the side. But overall, you know, this is a Macan. You don't have very much space back here. It would be tough to fit 5 people or 3 people back here comfortably, for sure. Looking through the rear, as you can see, not much room. You know, you're definitely smushed down. I do have a lot of headroom. I will say that. There is a lot of headroom above me, which is nice and appreciated. And in general, it feels comfortable. Feels comfortable for sure. The engine here, pop that open, come around to the side. Like I said, 2.9 liter twin turbo V6, producing 375 horsepower and about 380 pounds of torque. Good looking engine. You can see the airflow or air filter there for the engine itself. Now, very interesting features that actually cut out the headlight design. This is not standard on the Cayenne. It's not what it looks like. It's kind of weird, a little quirky for sure, but overall, you know, makes for a nice smooth line on the headlight. Looking down here, we have more of this plasticky accent pieces everywhere, and also more of these triangle design cuts, which do make the car look a little bit sportier. The fun part. Okay, hopping in, now you have this fixed stock on this car, and that typically is a common practice for the Porsche, any Porsche at all. Basically turn on the car, flip that switch. Now, looking at the interior of the car, you got this dark walnut all across, some silvery aluminum accents with the black kind of fake leather up top, and this Mojave beige, which is a nice interior looking color. I'd probably pick black with the chalk exterior, but you know, this is what they provide you with. In the middle here, you got all pretty much your commands, which I like this system. You know, if you want to change something, you want to put the car in sport, you can do that pretty easily. If you want to turn on your heated seat, you can do that. You can control all the AC all in one place. Now, these buttons do get a little dirty or dusty, I'd say, because it's this piano black finish. But in general, everything that you need to do to control the car is right here. Gear selector, we're in drive. All right, driving the car in comfort mode. I'd say in general, super easy to drive. Type of car that feels good in comfort mode, feels smooth, rides well, doesn't give you too much here or there, and it just cruises. You know, handles like a Porsche. Steering is precise. It is not too floaty. You know, in general, it's a type of handling that I enjoy in any type of luxury SUV. This is kind of what you expect, and the car feels kind of like a sedan when you drive it. I must say, it doesn't feel too crazy. Now, let's go into sport mode. Let's just take this turn with a little bit of speed. Yeah, nimble, quick, and fast. That's the way I describe this car. It is easy to drive, fun to drive, quick to drive. It handled that turn exceptionally well, I'd say. Now, Porsche's infotainment system, one of the best on the market. I'd say the commands and controls all across this entire experience is awesome. You know, the navigation, which I don't use because pretty much stay in CarPlay most of the time, is great. Nothing to complain about here. It's not as complicated as, I'd say, Mercedes, but it is just nice to use, easy to use, and in general, pretty awesome. Let's talk a bit about the transmission. 7-speed PDK, fantastic. Shifts really well, very smooth, very quick. Sport exhaust is nice. You know, nothing crazy, but it sounds good. For an S model, it's kind of what you want in this car. I think buying this car in its base version, not worth it. You might as well pony up the extra money to get the S. It starts at $68K. There's probably some additional features that you'll be thrown in as well. But this version, this specific spec, is about $78,860. So about $79,000 all in for this version, like that chalk exterior, of course the executive design wheels, which are about a $3,200 option. And you know, it's not cheap because it's a Porsche, but it's a nice compact luxury SUV, and I like it. I think it's great. Now that noise, you heard that noise, that is actually the lane keep assist notification. It's a very interesting sound effect, probably one of the most unique that I've heard in any car. Typically some vehicles, they have the vibration on the seat, or the steering wheel will vibrate. Nope, this car, what it does is it beeps, or kind of gives you this interesting futuristic sound effect. See? It's a little interesting sounding, I'd say. Let's give it a nice pull. Yeah, it's quick. When you need it to be quick, it's there. Now, I'm sure the GTS version, that extra power is probably going to make a huge difference. But in general, this car is comfortable, easy to drive across the city or the town. Go north a little bit. Test the brakes too. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty good. A little bit of body roll. Solid acceleration right there. Car is just fun to drive. It feels so sporty. It feels so nimble, so graceful when you want it. Love a little bit more torque. 380 pounds, not great for a vehicle like this. But I'd say like it's not slow, put it that way. It's quick, nimble, graceful, and fun. Those are the words I would use to describe this car. The CarPlay system. Let's talk about that. Overall, I think Porsche's use of CarPlay in these cars is great, except you can't take advantage of the full screen for whatever reason. And if somebody in the comments could tell me how I could do that, but I just can't seem to figure this out. I don't know why Porsche wants to have a little bit of their basically PCM infotainment system still in play, but for some reason, like, I want this to be the whole screen. If I'm looking at navigation or something similar to that, I want to be able to really see and take advantage of the entire screen, but you just can't. And that's frustrating to me. But it's a little detail, minor detail. This screen is still very high resolution, super responsive on the touch response. I like that little click you get when you switch and tap around. Certainly very accurate, very responsive, and in general, pretty darn good. Looking at the steering wheel, by the way, we have these kind of aluminum, I guess they're not actually aluminum, sort of these fake polished plastic shifters. Very nice, very responsive. Porsche really nails the button plays everywhere in the car extremely well, probably better than any other manufacturer. I mean, I like even the turn signal is just fantastic. Let's talk about something I don't like in the car, and that is the adaptive cruise control system. Not exactly how it works itself, but controlling it and piloting it. You have to use this stock. I just wish they would let you control it on the actual steering wheel itself. That to me seems like much more of a logical and useful way for these, useful idea for these buttons here. Now this key right here, this diamond by my right thumb, that is configurable. It's kind of like a hotkey button. If you want to just press that and throw it into sport, you can do that. But you can actually configure that button to do pretty much anything you want across the vehicle. Let's talk about the center tack. I like the analog look and feel of these tachometers. It's cool looking, and I like it in silver as well. Kind of gives you that retro-y kind of feel, but you know, still very responsive. Feels more Porsche-like, I'd say. Now, to engage manual mode on this car, of course, you can press the shifters at any time, but the real way to do it, to actually set the car into manual, is to press this M plus minus button. Nice, I think that was a Cayman GTRS. And doing so ensures that the car will not shift without your instruction and input. So you can really get to the top of those RPM bands. Redlines is about 6,800 RPMs. Sounds good at that range. You get a lot of engine noise, that purring, bit of the sport exhaust when you actually upshift. But yeah, I mean, the car in general is fun to drive. That's what this is. This car is fun to drive. All right, starting off in manual sport mode. Let's go ahead and shred this car. Oh yeah. Sounds excellent. When you're driving this thing in sport mode, I love the sound of that 2.9 liter twin turbo V6, as well as the sport exhaust. It sounds nice on this Macan S. We're going to go find some roads that are a little bit more twisty and turny so we can test out some more of the handling on this car, which I think is fantastic. In general, it's super nimble, graceful. Said that probably about 30 times now about this car, but it really is extremely nimble, quick, fun to drive. Very precise. Wherever you want to put it, it will go. Some strong pickup, and the brakes are just great. I feel like I can stop. The brakes aren't great, I would say, but they're strong, especially for a car of this size. It's about 55 degrees out right now here in Jersey. Give some room for that car in front of us. Yeah, it has just excellent acceleration for a car this size, for any compact SUV. I can only imagine how the GTS drives. Fun. And I feel in control, even around these tight turns, windy roads, smaller. It's definitely a more narrow road. I feel more in control because of how much smaller this vehicle feels. You don't get much body roll. PDK is excellent. A little wheel spin there. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, a lot of the interior design language of this car is kind of this kind of fake plasticky stuff. I must say Porsche probably saved a lot more money or cut their costs on the interior features or quality, build quality of all the things within this vehicle. You have this kind of faux leather in the middle on the center console. The seats themselves, they have this plush, I think it's probably real leather on the bolsters, but literally like this perforated faux leather. You know, you can tell it's kind of fake, but it doesn't mean it's not comfortable. This car has the optional 14-way adaptive seats that feel really good. Yeah, fun SUV. That's how I would characterize the Porsche Macan S. A fun, nimble, small little SUV. Let's go ahead and do a little launch control here. Turn it off of manual. It's pretty quick. Pretty quick. You definitely don't get thrown to the back of your seat. You know, it's not that type of pull, but it gets there. It gets there quickly, about 4.5, 0 to 60, and you know, it's quick. It's fun. So yeah, I think that's it for a review. This is the 2023 Porsche Macan S. If you have any questions about this car, comments. Do you think it's worth the almost $80K price tag? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in below. As always, I'm ShiftyStan. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. Maybe smash that like button. I think you might enjoy some of the content that we are putting out here on YouTube. It's strictly POV content right now, but we are venturing in to do some automotive deep dives. And on the POV side, we have some excellent one-off cars. We got a new GT3 6-speed that's coming up, as well as a Lamborghini. Now, I won't spoil more than that, but I want you to be aware that more content like this is coming out every single day. So, really appreciate it. I'm ShiftyStan, as always.